Hey everyone, Cosmic Castaway here, and welcome to my playthrough for one of my all-time favorite games, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Now, just a couple of quick things before we jump into the playthrough. This isn't going to be a completionist run or anything like that. There are quite a few optional bosses in Dark Souls 2, so I won't be doing every single one of them, just the ones I really enjoy. I will, however, be sharing my thoughts on the lore, characters, enemies, areas, and everything else that fascinates me about this game. So every now and then I'm going to chime in with my thoughts about the story, the gameplay mechanics, or anything else that comes to mind. And it's my hope that we'll have a lot of fun together with this playthrough. But for now, let's sit back and enjoy the amazing and very mysterious opening for Dark Souls 2.
Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything once branded, the symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drangleic. Perhaps you're familiar? No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. Like a moth drawn to a flame, your wings will burn in anguish, time after time. For that is your fate, the fate of the cursed.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them.
Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed.
What is your name? At least you know your own name. Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy.
Take a closer look. Who do you think it's supposed to be?
Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
And now we come to the character creator for Dark Souls 2. I usually don't do anything real crazy with the character creator. I usually just take one of the presets and then just kind of go from there. I usually just like to take one of the starting faces, tweak it just a little bit to my preference, and then I'm good to go. That being said, I did fine-tune this character a little bit more than normal, so bear with me in the character creator here. However, I am very happy with the way Arya turned out. I think that's actually probably one of my better looking characters in Dark Souls 2. Now for my starting class, I'm actually going to choose Deprived, which I think is one of the most interesting starting classes in the Souls series. It does make a bit more of a challenge for you early on in the game, as you start with pretty much no armor or weapons, and you kind of have to really pick up stuff as you go, but it does make it all the more rewarding when you are able to equip those weapons and armor. Plus, another thing I love about the Deprived class is it completely allows you to build the character the way you want. Since you start at Soul Level 1, you have so many options early game to build the character exactly how you want. I will say, though, that I'm probably most likely going to be a strength character for this playthrough. I might change my mind, but at the moment that's what I'm leaning towards. And another thing of note is I'm going to choose my starting gift as the Petrified Something. And in my opinion, the Petrified Something is one of the most fun starting gifts in the Souls series. Just because if you start with the Petrified Something, you have no idea what you're going to get in return once you trade it, because sometimes you can get incredibly lucky and get a very valuable late-game item when you trade the Petrified Something with the Sparkling Sisters, which we'll meet in a couple of minutes. But yes, I hope you enjoy Arya here. I'm very happy with the way she turned out, and I hope you enjoy her as the main character for this playthrough.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse.
You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance. Well, you never know. Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom.
But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You'll lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
This is a limbo, a link between Drangleic and the outer world. Fair traveller, I know that you must have a story. Why else would you visit such a place? This lost, decayed kingdom.
I think it's really interesting how we meet the Firekeepers at the very start of this game. I didn't completely exhaust the dialogue with Housekeeper Millibeth. She does say some interesting things about the Firekeepers, and I wanted to read one of her lines of dialogue here. The old women are sisters. I am told there is a fourth. They have looked like that for as long as I have known them. Long ago, Firekeepers were commonplace, but now they are lost, scattered to the winds. This dialogue is really fascinating because it heavily implies that the old woman we met in the cinematic is in fact a Firekeeper and was part of this group. It's also interesting how it mentions that the Firekeepers were once commonplace but are no longer. And it's true because we did meet several Firekeepers in the first Dark Souls game, but the only Firekeepers we meet in Dark Souls 2 are quote-unquote retired. I think it's really interesting how the Firekeepers have abandoned their duty and are no longer tending to the flames. And as in other Dark Souls games, the fire in Dark Souls 2 is fading, giving way to an age of dark. But as we'll discover as we go through the story of this game, there is slightly more to it than that. And now we meet the sparkling sisters Dina and Tilo. I've always enjoyed this mechanic of trading with these various bird characters across the Soul series, and Dina and Tilo in Dark Souls 2 give you some pretty awesome stuff. This is why I chose my starting gift as the Petrified Something, because I knew there was a very good chance I would get something pretty awesome early game. And as you can see, I was rewarded with a Titanite slab, which I was very happy about. Dina and Tilo's trading system works a bit differently from the other bird characters in the Soul series, in that they want specific items called smooth and silky stones, or the highest tier item, which is the Petrified Something. You're never entirely sure what you're going to get back when you trade these stones, so I do like how there's a bit more of an element of chance when you're trading with these characters. But yes, I love Dina and Tilo, and I'll probably be stopping back here from time to time throughout the playthrough. As far as starting areas for the Soul series goes, I have to say that Things Betwixt is probably one of the most intriguing. It's almost like an extra-dimensional, magical gateway that leads to this kingdom that we're going to be spending the rest of the game in. I also like the idea how Drangleic kind of pulls in outsiders to seek some cure for the curse that they're under, and some of this is implied in the item description for the Traveler's Tunic. The description for the Traveler's Tunic reads, "The cursed souls who wander the lands have a strange way of ending up here, as if drawn from afar by some force." So as we'll discover, there are a lot of characters we meet in Drangleic who come to this kingdom for a very specific purpose, but sometimes they're not exactly sure why or what their real motive was in the first place. And that, in my opinion, is one of the most compelling parts of the story, particularly for the NPCs we'll meet. Now we've finally arrived at the beautiful, majestic hub area of Dark Souls 2. And we'll end this video with our character Arya meeting one of my favorite characters in the entire Dark Souls series, the Emerald Herald.
Are you the next monarch? Or merely a pawn of fate? Bearer of the curse, I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters. Take this with you. May it ease your journey. Go on and see the king. He who made Drangleic what it once was. He who peered at the essence of the soul. King Vendrick. Bearer of the curse, Seek misery. For misery will lead you to greater, stronger souls. You will never meet the king with a soul so frail and pallid. Seek those whose names are unutterable. The four endowed with immense souls. Their souls will serve as beacons. Once you have found them, return here to me, so that hope will not fade away. Bearer of the curse, seek souls, larger, more powerful souls. Seek the king. That is the only way. Lest this land swallow you whole, as it has so many others.